佛国，中央人民政府今天胜利了。
为建设富强、民主、文明、和谐、美丽的社会主义现代化强国努力奋斗。
A train full of tourists is en route for paradise. This scenic railway takes passengers on a journey to 18 specialty farms, growing anything from flowers and medicinal herbs to bamboo. Hundreds of travelers visit these farms every day, drawn by their astonishing beauty. Seeing Lujia village today, it's hard to believe that not so long ago, this area was nothing more than a dirty trench filled with garbage. The transformation is a direct result of the Green Rural Revival Program, an ecological engineering project that's currently underway in countless villages across Zhejiang province. One by one, villages are becoming scenic spots. On September the 26th, 2018, the project was awarded the highest international honor for environmental protection, the UNEP's Champions of the Earth Award.
今天，习近平主席亲自推动了千村示范、万村整治工程，使我们的村庄变成了一张亮丽的明信片。Protection Bureau Fang Min and citizen of Zhejiang Province, Julie Kim.
Lujia village is a microcosm of modern-day China. In a country where greenery is considered just as valuable as gold, a symphony of ecological improvement is being played across the country. Creating a beautiful home is a dream shared by all of mankind. Today, the whole world is facing major environmental challenges. For China, establishing an ecological civilization has been identified as a fundamental strategy in achieving sustainable development. Since the launch of the reform and opening up, China has been developing at a breakneck pace. However, along the way, it has accumulated considerable ecological and environmental problems. In 1985, Xi Jinping, who was working in Zhengding, Hebei province at the time, stated, "We'd rather be poor than polluted." In August 2005, Xi became party secretary of Zhejiang province. Subsequently, speaking in Yuzun village, he proposed the development theory of green is gold. In 2012, the 18th CPC National Congress set out a five-pronged strategy for the development of socialism with Chinese characteristics. The focus would be simultaneous development in the areas of culture, society, the economy, politics, and ecological civilization. Later, the fifth plenary session of the 18th CPC Central Committee proposed a new development concept, combining innovation, coordination, green development, opening up, and sharing. This major new approach made ecological progress a critical part of China's comprehensive development strategy. In 2017, the 19th CPC Congress identified 3 major long-term battles that would be fought in China: the prevention of major risks, targeted poverty alleviation, and pollution reduction and prevention. The development of an ecological civilization has a direct bearing on the people's happiness and the future of the nation. Since becoming Communist Party General Secretary, Xi Jinping has made several speeches on the subject of the environment. He has stated on numerous occasions that China's environmental issues have built up in the course of many years. They have not appeared overnight, so no one should sit back and watch the situation worsen. To be a communist, he said, means to take a determined, proactive approach to ending problems. In September 2013, in a speech at Kazakhstan's Nazarbayev University, Xi Jinping shared China's green development ideals with the world.
既要金山银山，又要绿水青山。宁可要绿水青山，不要金山银山，因为绿水青山就是金山银山。
Green is gold is the core concept in all of Xi Jinping's thinking on ecological civilization. It represents a break with the simple idea of a zero-sum game between development and environmental protection. Instead, it paints a positive picture of the integration of development and environmental protection. Pujiang County in Zhejiang Province is 70% hills, 20% waters, and 10% arable land. For many generations, people have lived among these mountains and rivers. Zhang Bijun has spent his entire life in Pujiang.
我们小时候池塘里都能游泳的，我们就在这里游泳，那时候还很多鱼的，基本上我们在这里还跳水，啪跳下去。
However, in the 1980s, a new industry, crystal glass polishing, came to Pujiang and everything changed. The local people learned the polishing skills enthusiastically and started earning a lot of money. Zhang Bijun was a bright child and mastered the techniques quickly. By the age of 17, he had already set himself up in business.
一个电动机，一个砂轮，然后就是手拿着磨。
Glass polishing doesn't involve major investment or complex production techniques. Before long, virtually every family was involved in the business. A small town with a population of 400,000 had more than 22,000 crystal glass workshops.
我到18岁到20岁，我那时候都在城里买了房子，然后又买了摩托车，又买了大哥大，等于所有的都有了。
The people of Pujiang were living their dream. However, the environment was suffering. The waters were no longer clear. Of 500 rivers in the region, 90% were filled with garbage or covered with black, acrid sludge.
那时候我在想，我们还能在这个地方生存吗？能生活吗？有时候站在那里，真的是可以说心里很难受，很难受。 对子孙后代的生活带来这么大的影响，那我们在做这个行业有什么意义呢？那时候我也在思考。
In 2003, Xi Jinping, who was Zhejiang Party Secretary, proposed the 8-8 strategy for the future development of the province. A key feature of the proposal was creating a green Zhejiang. Guided by this strategy, the province launched a long-term battle to improve environmental governance. People in the province came to the conclusion that if their source of income was also the source of pollution and destruction, they'd prefer to go poor. In Pujiang, 20,000 crystal glass factories were closed, 90,000 pieces of equipment were scrapped, and illegal structures covering 5.7 million square meters were torn down.
在修机器打磨的时候要注意那个边的厚薄均匀的问题，还是一个碎口。然后灌金的时候，金一定要让它注意。在修机器打磨。
Zhang Bijun remained in the crystal glass business. His was one of 400 workshops that were relocated to a specialist industrial park, where all the wastewater and residue is centrally processed, minimizing the amount of pollution.
如果你牺牲了环境，带来自己的利益，这个我说白了，我们内心不安。
Pujiang was green hills and blue waters once again. People had their beautiful home back. Yet Pujiang's industry was not completely devastated as some had predicted. On the contrary, 2 years after the town began dealing with its pollution problem, although the number of crystal factories had fallen by 90%, total output had actually increased by 24%. The people went from exploiting the mountains to developing with them. By protecting their environment, they are protecting their most important resource. In 2018, President Xi visited Chagan Lake, over 1,000 kilometers away from Pujiang.
基性友谊啊，这是个好兆头。你看这连年有余的政策多好，一个是生态好，生态建设，查干湖有什么标志？再一个是旅游啊，我们说这是绿水青山啊，你是冰天雪地，这都是生态意象。
That same year, the National Working Conference on Ecological and Environmental Protection adopted a plan for studying Xi Jinping's concept of an ecological civilization. It also laid out a strategy for building a greener China. Green is gold. This expresses the idea that protecting the environment is protecting productivity, and improving the environment is improving productivity. It indicates the path to a future in which development and environmental protection can coexist. Every major city in China lies on a river. Across the country, there are more than 45,000 rivers that each water an area of at least 50 square kilometers. However, in 2013, studies revealed a shocking statistic: that China's 10 biggest waterways were polluted for over half of their combined length. In 2016, the Master of the River scheme was introduced. Under it, every river is assigned a river chief. Of all China's rivers, the one that gives rise to the greatest concern is its mother river, the Yangtze. Its waters have nurtured Chinese civilization for thousands of years, but today it's facing a serious ecological crisis. The Yangtze has become gravely ill. President Xi has visited the river numerous times. He has called for a major effort to protect it and for a ban on large-scale construction along its course.
不是一说这个就是大干快上啊，上一堆没用的东西，或者是有害的东西。而我们现在是吧，当务之急要做的和进一步要防范的，就是一定要把我们母亲河保护好。它已经恶化，要恢复它，而不是再进一步破坏它。
In Taizhou, Jiangsu province, the fishermen living along the Yangtze are waging a campaign to protect fish stocks. Chun Wei lives right by the river. From his grandfather down to him, the family have fished the river here. Hairtails, pufferfish, and hilsa are 3 types of fish the Yangtze is known for. In Wei Chen's father's time, pufferfish numbers began to decline until they finally disappeared. 10 years ago, Chen took over a 3-hectare fish pond. He wanted to try farming pufferfish, using smaller fish and shrimps as feed. His pufferfish have a natural taste and texture, and his farm became a great success. But something was still weighing on his mind.
不希望我们的小孩以后想看河豚鱼、看长江三鹰的时候啊，仅仅在课本上看到。
In the spring of 2019, Chen spent nearly 100,000 yuan purchasing 20,000 young pufferfish, which he released into the Yangtze. It was part of a scheme to restore the river, which he had launched with his parents and other volunteers. The Yangtze's economic belt extends to 110 cities that are home to over 40% of the country's total population and generate 40% of its GDP. These cities also account for over 40% of the country's wastewater discharge. The Yangtze is the source of drinking water for many cities along its banks, so it has a direct impact on the well-being of more than 500 million people. Hand in hand with the development of the economic belt, 11 provinces and municipalities along the Yangtze, working with the relevant government departments, have set up a multi-layered consultation and cooperation framework known as the 1+3 Yangtze Economic Belt Provincial Consultation and Cooperation Mechanism. On April the 24th, 2018, Xi Jinping arrived in Yichang. From the airport, he headed straight to the Yangtze. He was keen to inspect the work being done along the river's banks to restore its ecosystem. The ecosystem may seem like it's permanent, but it can be lost. Once that happens, it's gone forever. Xi Jinping has consistently stressed that the Yangtze, China's mother river, must live on, come what may. Today, the Yangtze is generally in good condition. The source where the Yangtze, as well as the Yellow and Lancang rivers originate, has been well protected. The Yellow River and two other key waterways, the Amur and Nun, have witnessed significant improvements in their water quality over the past few years. Green, the symbol of life, is the basic color on nature's palette. A green environment is especially precious to those living in desert climates where sandstorms are a frequent occurrence. 8 deserts, 4 sandy lands, and the vast Gobi cover large areas of northwestern, northeastern, and northern China. These areas form what is known as the 3 northern sand zones, covering a combined area that's larger than all of China's arable land. It's in these deserts that the world's biggest afforestation campaign, the 3 Northern Protective Forests Project, is being carried out. Beginning in 1978, the plan is for over 35 million hectares of forests to be planted in the course of 73 years. Saihanba lies in the northern part of Hebei province, near the southern edge of the Hunshan Dak sandy land. Its name means tall, beautiful hills. At the end of the Qing dynasty, the Mulan hunting ground here was opened up to farming. But within 100 years, the land had become barren, dry, and sandy. In the 1950s, regular sandstorms originating here began threatening Beijing, 180 kilometers to the south. An area that had once acted as a shield had become a danger point in the ecosystem. In September 1962, in order to rectify the situation, 369 young people from all over China came here. Amid frigid temperatures and constant snowstorms, they started creating the Saihanba Forest Farm.
白毛蓬啊，我们讲它嗷嗷的一刮的时候，真的出去以后对面看不到人，呼吸都非常的困难。
Initially, planting did not go as planned. Many of the trees and bushes weren't suited to the extreme environment in Saihanba. Of the first 130 hectares of saplings that were planted, less than 8% survived. However, the difficulties only served to stimulate the inventiveness and determination of the workers. In 1964, a large-scale campaign was launched, dubbed the Battle of Horseshoe Trench.
马蹄坑会战呢，那是中央党委下的一个决心，就是拼死一搏，可以是这么说。这如果马蹄坑会战再不成功的话，这吉林省就有可能要下马海洋。
Against all the odds, some 35 hectares of forests were successfully planted. The workers claimed victory in the Battle of Horseshoe Trench. From then on, the afforestation at Saihanba accelerated every year, and the forest steadily expanded. Those youthful university graduates who took part in the original campaign are in their 80s now. They've passed the baton on to the next generation, fighting adversity for the sake of green development. This theme defines the spirit of Saihanba. It is being inherited by a new generation of forestry workers who are working diligently to protect the country's forests and plant more trees. Liu Jun and his wife have a vital job. They guard against forest fires. They survey the forest and record the situation every 15 minutes. The reports they have written are like a conversation between its guardians and the forest itself. In August 2017, Xi Jinping issued a series of key instructions on environmental work. He called for the party and society to continue to implement the green development ideals and uphold the Saihanba spirit of continuous hard work.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, the 2017 Champion of the Earth for Inspiration and Action in is China's Saihanba Afforestation Community.
In 2017, the Saihanba Afforestation Community in Hebei Province received the Champions of the Earth Award from the United Nations. As of 2018, 480 million trees had been planted in Saihanba. They are protecting and nurturing over 238 million cubic meters of water and release over 576,000 tons of oxygen every year. The three Northern Protective Afforestation projects have been hailed as among the greatest successes in global ecosystem governance. Elsewhere in China, other projects have created more than 30 million hectares of forests and grasslands in the past 20 years. China, by adhering to its commitment to green development, is helping the entire world. In spring 2019, the results were published of a NASA environmental study. From 2000 to 2017, China had been responsible for over a quarter of the new green leaf area created worldwide. This made it the world's biggest contributor to making the Earth greener. The purpose of green development is to build a relationship between man and nature in which the two sides exist in harmony. The Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge is a magnificent sight. Lingding Channel, located at the mouth of the Pearl River, is home to a community of Chinese white dolphins. After the bridge opened to traffic, a patrol ship on duty in these waters reported a sighting of 5 Chinese white dolphins. The dolphins, they said, swam alongside the ship and leapt into the air. The bridge's builders had made a promise that its construction would not force the dolphins from their natural habitat. That promise has evidently been kept. An estimated 340 million yuan was invested in environmental protection during the bridge's construction. The bridge is a powerful symbol of China's ability to create miracles of engineering. It's also a practical demonstration of the coming together of Hong Kong, Macau, and Zhuhai, and a testament to the harmonious coexistence of humans and the sea. Many of China's cities are rapidly being shrouded in green. The Green Loop Road around Mount Zejin in Nanjing, Shanghai's Huangpu River Green Riverside Promenade, and Wuhan's East Lake Green Path. These are just three of the many green routes that have brought the feel of nature back to China's cities. Today, such routes are the go-to places for people in search of exercise in a natural environment.
因为我家住长江边，带着孩子经常在这个绿树成荫的健康长廊上玩耍呀、锻炼啊，是孩子一天中最放松、最愉悦的时光。
空气好啊，觉得很随心啊，看一下江水啊，然后这些蓝天白云啊，比在那个室内我觉得好多了。满意度、幸福感非常高，让我对这个我在这个城市的幸福指数立马提升了，就是真的是这样的。江边的空气好嘛，这环境好，我就喜欢这个地方。
By the end of 2018, China had constructed over 56,000 kilometers of inner-city green promenades. China's environmental protection revolution has transformed the country's economic and energy structure. The city of Datong in Shanxi province caused an internet sensation by arranging 170,000 solar panels in the shape of a baby panda. The city was praised not only for the cute design, but also for its determination to transition to clean energy. Today, China is the world's biggest solar power user. Also, the total installed capacity of its wind turbines ranks first in the world. By 2020, it is estimated that the use of renewable energy across China will have reduced carbon dioxide emissions by nearly 1.4 billion tons annually. This is the equivalent of replacing 580 million tons of coal with renewable energy sources. The smooth development of an ecological civilization can only be guaranteed by the application of the strictest standards and laws. The Central Environmental Protection Supervisory Group, with offices in 31 provinces, municipalities, and autonomous regions, has reviewed and passed judgment in cases involving over 10,000 people. The Qilian Mountains act as a shield for the ecosystem in western China. In 1988, the government gave approval for the Qilian Mountains National Natural Preservation Zone to be established. Despite this, the region's ecosystem came under severe strain due to overgrazing, mining, and dam construction. At the start of 2017, an inspection team sent by the central authorities came to investigate. Over the course of a year, 149 herding families were moved from the core area. 117 mining operations were shut down, and 77 mining rights were withdrawn. Of 42 hydroelectric power plants, 10 have already been closed, while the remainder await a review of their water resource use. In this way, the Qilian Mountains' wounds are slowly being healed. On August the 20th, 2019, Xi Jinping paid a visit to the Shandan horse farm to check on progress in the effort to restore the Qilian Mountains ecology. He pointed out that the protection of the Qilian Mountains was strategically important for the protection of China's ecosystem as a whole. He said it was essential for the precious green grasslands to be preserved and for the Qilian Mountains to continue to be a place of green hills and crystal clear waters. People find it hard to forget Beijing's heavy smog.
北京市从27号开始持续被雾霾天气所笼罩。
平均能见度小于大雾难以消散，空气质量是一路下滑，空气重污染的红色预警。
In 2013, China started to implement a series of air, water and soil governance action plans. The country had declared war on pollution. Just 5 years later, the results of the fight against air pollution were visible in Beijing. In the first half of 2019, Beijing's 4 major pollutants all reached a historic low in terms of density as the blue skies returned. China still faces some major challenges in protecting its environment. However, the long-term issues of resource-intensive development, serious environmental damage, and the degradation of the ecosystem have all been brought under control. The environment is showing signs of recovery. Spring is here once again, as life returns to every corner of the land. The Beijing suburbs are welcoming their first groups of tree planters of the year. Since the party's 18th National Congress in 2012, Xi Jinping has gone to the suburbs every April to plant trees. This is the 7th consecutive year he has done so. It's not just a sapling that's being planted, but the hope of building an ecological civilization. It's not only the soil that's being nurtured, but also the dream of creating a green Beijing and beautiful China.
我希望北京乃至全中国都能够蓝天常在、青山常在、绿水常在，让孩子们都生活在良好的生态环境之中。这也是中国梦中很重要的内容。
China should be a beautiful place covered with green hills and clear rivers and filled with nostalgic memories. The Chinese people are resolved to embrace the new era of ecological civilization, to protect their green home and to help make their country beautiful, replete with striking blue skies, rolling green land and clear rivers.
就是我。